I'm really excited for today's topic because I love talking about making you guys more money, and we have spent a lot of time supporting our community with their pricing strategies and the confidence that comes with pricing your services, or the confidence that comes when you are appropriately pricing your services, or the confidence you need to raise your prices. So I want to help you get paid more, always, always. And the goal here is that we want you to be making more money without working more. And I know this is like this sort of internet promise and get rich quick. This isn't that at all. My goal here, and the point of this discussion, is around PR agency owners, freelancers, or whatnot, making more money, hopefully working less or not more. Maybe you have a feeling you're not charging enough. Every time I bring it up, people are like, I need to raise my prices. Or maybe your structure right now is hourly, or you're working towards projects, also, in my opinion, or based on deliverables. And certainly you should not be doing pay to play. I think you know this by now, and I'm going to repeat it, but it is totally possible to make more money without adding more hours or additional deliverables or scope. I want you to start to think about the possibility of switching your mindset from freelance to getting you in that agency headspace, or at least, taking that freelance to the next level for you, which for me, the goal is to give you more revenue, more income without, like I said, increase of hours or scope or deliverables. Don't want you having to work more. And, if you want to work with bigger clients, great, but that doesn't mean you should have to. So I'm going to share some of my best tips for building your confidence when it comes to charging rates that reflect the quality of the work that you do. The number one thing, which I hinted to, is shifting to a retainer-based pricing model. Tends to be a little more challenging to justify it or get to a higher rate when you position yourself as a freelancer. And promise me, you are going to stay away from hourly pricing and shift to a retainer-based model. I would love for you to also shift away from project-based and deliverable-based. I don't love it, honestly. When you estimate retainer prices based on hourly, you are still getting paid for an hourly calculation. And the problem there is that a lot of us that are very seasoned can pick up a phone or send a quick email and land a great press feature, and it doesn't take that long. It's almost like you're being penalized by the efficiencies you are able to implement in your business by having experience and contacts, connections. Like, the better you get as you go along, the faster you are at getting results, would mean that you're estimating fewer hours and therefore making less on your retainer. I think in a freelancer context, when you're building your team, they may come at you with a rough estimate of how many hours they might need to be able to execute the work for you every month. But I don't want you paying them hourly. I want you to sort of figure out the rate and just keep it at that rate every month, plus minus. You're not paying for my time. You are paying for my skill, my connections, my storytelling. The goal of the retainer model is to help you generate consistent, predictable, recurring retainer revenue every single month. That's the foundation of what I want your agency to provide to you. There's security in that. There's predictability. Basically building up an agency with happy clients, delivering results, having a solid pipeline of your perfect niche down clients that you are going to take amazing care of. They're going to be so happy working with you. They're not going to leave. And if they do leave, it happens. It happens to all of us. you're not going to freak out because, first of all, it's not personal. We know that. But you still have other clients on retainer that you're, billing every month, and you know how much time's on their contracts. When you're aiming for your retainer contracts, I'm sorry, 3 months is a project. That's not really a retainer, it's a project. So I want you to aim for at least 6 months. And you need enough runway to generate results. It's an industry standard. PR is a long game. There's so much that we can point to and tell the client to support that. But telling your client PR is a long game, it's cumulative, it takes time to build momentum, they need to be educated on that because their expectations need to be reasonable and aligned with what they can expect with working with you. You want to explain to them that 6 months will get you that runway to do your strategy, build your list, send out your pitches, and follow up and start to generate and land those long lead features. And it will also give you a really good sense and give them a really good sense of what it's like to work with you, how responsive you are, the creative nature of your pitches, like how fun. I mean, honestly, we try to get in and like have fun with our clients. Like we have inside jokes and we make it really fun to work with us. We become an extension of their team. That takes time to build all of that and have it all working together. So what I also want you to do is to do 6 month minimum contracts. Do not ever do 3 month contracts ever. It's not enough time. No. That's a project, which means there's going to be scope creep. You're going to start to generate momentum and then it's over. 3 months is not enough time. You're building a strategy that takes time. You're gathering assets. You are building a media list. You're crafting pitches. You're following up. Oh, 3 months is over. Wow, you didn't do anything for me. I paid you for 3 months and I got nothing. And you're constantly having to look for clients. You're on that hamster wheel of looking and looking and looking. The deal is that we want your contracts locked in, and that's why consistent, predictable, recurring retainer, it's the only way it works, is having, 6 months minimum. But the goal is to also tell your clients that most of your clients are the ones that see the most success go beyond that 6 month period because they have the best results, because PR is cumulative and it's ongoing. And your goal is to keep your clients in the eyes of the media fresh, consistently featured, so that there is momentum and there's a lot of interaction with consumers at their, where they're getting their information, or a lot of like touch points with consumers. And that's where real traction happens for clients. It's a really common talking point. Feel free to use it, that PR is cumulative. And if you go 3 months, you're not even getting the ball rolling. You're just dusting off that ball and it's just sitting there. And your client's going to say, what'd I pay you for? And then you're going to feel like, oh my God, I took their money. I didn't get anything. So I'll just like work another month for free, and it just does not work. It's a project. It's not a retainer. Call it what it is and don't do it. 6 month minimum is what I said, right? And then the goal is to roll it into longer contracts. So number 1, we swore no more hourly pricing. And you're telling clients PR is cumulative. We need enough time. 2 is establish value with your potential client really early in the process. So I don't want you to talk about your work in terms of hours or outputs. I want you to talk about your work in terms of value. Talk about the value that you provide and not the tasks that you're doing. It's the value that you provide. It positions you as a premium provider so that your work can command a premium fee. This isn't like, I spend 2 hours building a media list, and then I spend 3 hours writing a pitch, and then I spend 6 hours sending the pitch. Who cares? I don't care what it takes to get a press hit. I don't care. Just do that work, and they just want the value of these outcomes, right? So provide that value immediately, even if you're in your first conversation. For me, value means that I'm on that call and I'm talking to them as if they're already my client. I'm informing them of the way that things work. I'm asking them the right questions to understand, are they press ready? Are they going to be successful? Would we be successful working with them? And if I can tell they're not super dialed into how PR works, what they need to be successful right out of the gate, like if they don't know if they're a brand with physical products and they don't know about affiliate marketing, they have to get educated by me on that call. I will tell them. And I have had clients say that they got more value out of one conversation than they got trying to figure things out with their in-house team for a year and a half. 1 hour on the phone with me, and they solved this, because we're in the trenches doing it every day. We know how it works, and they don't really always know how it works. And the key is not that you're giving away your strategy, your approach. You're not giving them so much that they're like, wow, thank you so much. That was informative. We don't need you anymore. And the thought here is more like, wow, if I get this much information and value just from this one conversation, imagine the value that we'll get from working with them. They know their stuff. They know this industry. Every call I get off, they're like, I can tell you are just really dialed into the industry, or you know these niches really well. I don't question your expertise. I get on the phone and I know I'm giving them so much information. And, we're not giving away our secret sauce. Clients have to pay for that. That's the strategy. That is the actual execution. You're not like, here's how I do it. It's here's what, and then they pay you for the how. They pay you for the result that comes from implementing that only you can do, or only you could do your way. The other piece of it is that, this is interesting, but you kind of activate this psychological principle of reciprocity. So when you're serving, you're giving value, you do something nice for someone. As humans, we're kind of hardwired to want to do something nice in return. Wow, that was really valuable what you gave me. So they're on the phone thinking, yeah, they just gave all this for free. Let's kick it off and we'll give the business. And they gave me something really great. And now I'm really honored to offer them a retainer, offer them a contract, or let them know that we want them to be the team. So you have to strike this balance between demonstrating your stuff, sharing enough so that they know you're competent, your industry, you're connected, you can get results, you're excited about them, you're excited about their business, their product, whatever it is you're talking to them about. You believe in the company, the entrepreneur, whatever it is. That's worth gushing over on the phone for sure. But don't give it all away. Keep that secret sauce until they've signed that contract. And don't overshare don't give it all away, all your strategy, but you can talk a lot about your know-how in the industry, your contacts, your expertise, and how it can serve them, how excited you are, and all of that. Definitely share your excitement. Okay, so number 3, I don't want you, as hard as it is, don't share your prices before or during a discovery call, okay? Hear me out. You want to have a conversation with your potential clients about price so that you can align your expectations and make sure they're actually a good fit for you, and vice versa. So I don't want you to give standard pricing before a call, because then you get on the phone with them and they're like, we are launching 10 new products in the next 3 months, and we want this service, and you're like, well, that's not at all what I was envisioning. Or you put prices on a website, you're kind of locked to them. If you look at any big agency, any agency that's really kind of established and would command a premium, they are not putting their pricing on their website, and I don't want you to either. And avoid giving that price before the call, because you're kind of pigeonholed. You haven't even talked to them. You don't know what their needs are. You don't know what their expectations are. You also don't know what a pain in the ass they're going to be. I'm sorry, but sometimes if I'm on the phone and I'm like, wow, this company is going to be a huge pain in the ass, I might honestly double my rate. And if they go for it, great. They just paid a pain in the ass tax, and I can staff it accordingly to not have to deal with their nonsense. And there's also the other side of it is like, let me have a conversation. And if I'm like, oh my God, I really want to work with this client, like this would be so awesome for us, would be pretty easy for our team. They don't have a ton of products. You know, if you have your price on the website, you don't get to have that conversation that's like, look, let's do this. Let's find a way to make it happen, because I know we can do great things for you. And I'm really excited. Like, I want to make it happen, and I don't want price to be the factor that knocks us out of contention in your decision. Honestly, sometimes we lower our rate to get the ones that we have a really good feeling about and we know will really bring in the right clients in our niche. And also, don't fall into that trap of being pressured on the call. They'll say, well, what's your rate? You can and you should take the time to craft a detailed proposal after the call with clear pricing or clear breakdown of your rate. Not a breakdown in terms of hours or any of that. And I will ask them for their budget. It's usually like, well, what's your price? Well, what's your budget? Well, what's your price? What's your budget? Sometimes you're pleasantly surprised when you ask what's your budget and they tell you, and it's way more than you would have ever like imagined or thought. You know, and if your price is on your website or you just bark out a price, you are going to get pigeonholed if you do that. So, you know, the proposal is not like your whole strategy. They don't get that. Again, that's the secret sauce. They don't even get that until you're retained. But they do get a proposal that is like a capabilities deck and like general overview of like how we're going to approach working together. Here are the services, you know, that sort of a thing. But you need to spend some time when you're not pressured and under the gun to basically come up with a number. And I'm sorry, you shouldn't have a standard rate. Not all clients are the same. Not all clients' needs are the same. Not all team, time, staffing allocations. Launching a brand versus like a company that's been around a long time, or like, you know, doing a product launch versus a whole brand launch, or implementing certain services. It's all factors. So number 4, set your PR prices based on value too. So don't quote a price based on what you'll do, you know, deliverables, activities, hours. When you price based on these things, it turns your work into a commodity, which erases your unique value and it drives your fee down. So we don't base our fees on deliverables or activities or hours. We price based on outcomes and value. And when the client talks about what they want you to do, reframe the conversation around those outcomes that they're looking for. And then you position your pricing around that. And it's the outcomes that your clients want, and those tasks doesn't matter. They don't need to know that you built a list or you have a spreadsheet you're tracking, and you know, like none of that matters. They want outcomes, and those outcomes have value. And that is, you know, based on what you talk about with the client, what they're looking to accomplish. What are their goals? You know, you've got to have those conversations around goals so you know if you're going to be successful. If you don't know what their goals are, how are you going to be successful? You won't even know if you've met their goals. So when you do know their goals, the outcomes they're looking for, you can then reframe that discussion around those outcomes. Yeah. So keep that in mind. Shift your mindset around pricing. This is going to be number 5. And, you know, this is a huge part of leaping into PR and, more importantly, shifting your role from, in your mind, that freelancer, like a, you know, service provider, hourly service provider, to an agency owner. It becomes necessary to shift your mindset. So many entrepreneurs and service providers and PR pros, they feel uncomfortable charging what they want because it feels like they're asking for something. You're asking for money for work that you perform? Like, how dare you? How dare we ask for money for a service we're providing, right? It feels like you're asking, you know, for something, but you're offering, and make that mindset shift. You're not asking for anything. You're offering to bring tremendous value to your clients. You're not asking to be hired. You're not looking for a job. You're providing your service, and they're seeking your service. So that's a different mindset shift. It is, you're offering your services for the fee, just like your hairdresser cuts your hair for a fee. You're not looking for a job. You are offering your services to clients. You are not asking them, for anything. If they're interested in your services and you get on the phone and you like dazzle them and they want to work together, you're still offering to provide your services for the fee that you get paid to provide those services. So keep that in mind. And 6, practice building your confidence surrounding your prices. You have to say it out loud. You got to spit out that number. It may sound silly, but it seriously works. And you can repeat your pricing yourself when you're on a walk, folding laundry, you're in front of the mirror, you're just saying, and you build confidence and poise in explaining your rates to potential clients, whether that's in a proposal or on like a follow-up call when you're going over. And clients may say, hey, is there any flexibility in your pricing? And say, sure, let's talk about it. And perhaps that means that they finally share that budget number with you, and there's things in your proposal you can cut out, or you can maybe finagle it a little bit, but it's not saying you're discounting your services. It's more like discounting your services would be like, I charge $7,500 a month for our, media outreach services. And the client goes, oh, well, our budget's only $2,500 a month. And you're like, okay, that's discounting your services. If you say I charge $7,500 a month for media outreach services, and they say, oh, we really want to work together, but we went over your proposal and it seems like there might be some stuff in there that maybe isn't necessary for us at the stage, and maybe after we work together for a little while, we can add in. Our budget's closer to $6,000 or $5,500. Is there any flexibility in pricing where we can arrive a little closer to our budget? And then I'll trim some nonsense that's not even, maybe I'll say, you know what, instead of us submitting for awards for you on your behalf, we're happy to keep our eye on any awards. And that's a service that you can charge extra for, or that could be one you sort of lop off of your proposal and take a lower retainer and still work with a client that's awesome. And that difference is not, it's not a big deal, right? You're not like discounting your services. You're not giving up something for nothing. So keep that in mind, but you've got to get confident. I want to get everybody up minimum to $2,500. I think that's extremely low. I would like to get you up closer to $5,000 a month per client minimum. But if $2,500 sounds like a lot, start there. Put it on a Post-it, on your mirror. My retainer fees are $2,500 per month for a minimum of 6 months. And put it on the mirror and just say it and get comfortable. Get comfortable just like spitting out that number. It's like no big deal. This is what it is. This is the value we provide. The value we provide to you is worth $2,500 a month for 6 months. So you build this poise, you build this confidence, you build this certainty that you are worth that rate. You've said it enough. Your proposal is going to look awesome. You are going to just crush it and just be like, this is what it costs. Yeah, sure. That's what it is. Love it. Get comfortable. Okay. And then here you have to step into this role as the agency owner. You're going to build your skills. There's this huge piece of anxiety that surrounds your pricing, your confidence. It's that sort of employee or freelancer mindset. And when you step into this role as an agency owner, you build confidence. You start to shift that mindset towards building something, building an agency that you can grow, You can scale if you want. But you can shift away from that employee freelancer mindset and start to step into the role as an agency owner and build your confidence, start to shift your mindset towards growing, scaling, creating this predictable, recurring retainer revenue in your business. And that means that you are making decisions as if you already have a business like that. You are making decisions, you are structuring it in a way, right out of the gate, so that you have a buttoned up business with proven processes and systems and frameworks. And I have to tell you, that shift by having a business is working really well. By having a business that has a process for everything, like finding new clients, onboarding new clients, what your proposal looks like, having a contract that's ready to go for clients, retainer clients, or a freelancer contract, an influencer contract. So if your client wants to start working with influencers, you're going to say, oh yeah, like I've got we have a contract we can use and customize and all that. That confidence that comes from having everything buttoned up, having everything in place, having a business that's super buttoned up, that's going to come through in how you're presenting your services. That's going to come through in demonstrating the value you're providing to your clients. That's a huge mindset shift. You have made that decision that you're going to create an agency on your terms with clients you love. You're not going to take every single thing that comes your way. These are the decisions you have to start making as an agency owner. And so thank you so much for being here.